to Bossed Up Academy. Tonight, I want to talk to landlords. If you're thinking about becoming a landlord or if you're a current landlord, a lot of landlords right now are getting really discouraged. So I felt the need to come on and talk about this subject. Please do follow Bossed Up Academy on Facebook, IG, as well as YouTube. If you would like for us to discuss other topics as things transform about the stimulus package, more real estate investing updates, because we are a business coach business that works on just not only business coach businesses, but not only business coach, but we also do real estate investing. A lot of people have been asking me about when my next class will be. Our next class will be in January, and it will be on Worker to Boss, helping people get started in their business so that you can hit the ground running in 2021. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our focus for tonight, which is save your rental business. There's a lot of moratoriums going on right now. I think I'm getting a little bit of feedback here, stage. That there are a lot of moratoriums going on right now, which is making it harder for landlords to evict. This is hurting your mom and pop landlords, people that don't have many rentals. If you only got one or two rentals, people are seeing that they are hurting really bad because of this. When a tenant is not able to pay their rent, or they choose not to pay their rent just because now the media is telling you, hey, they can't file eviction. Well, there are ways around filing the eviction. Some places are not allowing you to file evictions for non-payment, but you need to go back through your lease and see if there's other reasons for you to file eviction. That means that they could have people living in there that are not on the lease. There are people that they may have pets. So those kind of things can make them in violation of the lease, which you can evict not for non-payment in some places. Some places are still allowing for you to evict for non-payment. But in the places where you cannot evict for non-payment, go back through your lease, read through your lease, and find out if they are in violation of other things in the lease. Also, a lot of people are where there's moratoriums to say January. Well, you can continue to let the rent run up, and then they will owe all of that back rent, which they probably won't be able to pay. So then, therefore, you still going to have to move forward with the eviction. So you can let the rents accumulate, but you have a duty to yourself, because your taxes, the tax bill place is not going to relieve you of your tax bill come January. Your monthly insurance is not going to relieve you from insuring your property. So you got to get tough skin, and you got to move forward to do what you have to do, because I see so many landlords, they're sinking themselves to save people. And a lot of times, not to say that people don't have issues, they don't come across financial hardships, but some of these tenants are living their best life on your dime. And you cannot take their sob stories and destroy yourself or destroy the rental business that you're trying to build because you're listening to stories that may or may not be accurate. A lot of people may say, hey, I'm unemployed. Well, some states are still giving unemployment plus the subsidy from the government. And some of these people are making more on unemployment than they were working. Also, you got the COVID-19 halt evictions form that people are sending out now. And that it does not require the landlord to sign it, but these tenants are sending them into the landlords. Well, you got to go in as the landlord, read what they're sending you. Don't just look at it and say, oh, it says halt for evictions. I can't evict this person. No, it tells them that they must make every effort to pay your rent. So therefore, you may need to refer them to nonprofits, government agencies that have been set up to help people in your area pay their rent. They must show that they have exhausted all measures to do so. This doesn't give them a free pass not to pay you. So you need to go back to those tenants and say, I need to, and what we did in our office was we made a list of those places and said, hey, we need denial letters. We need to know that you have applied and you have been denied and that you have genuinely tried to get us our rent and that has not worked for you. So therefore, we have a list of those places and we want to see what the outcome of that is. A lot of people have just said, forget it, I'll just pay my rent. Well, great. That works for both. That works as a win-win situation. You pay your rent, you get to stay there. I get the rent money. So don't let these people tell you just because there's a moratorium. Make sure that you are calling your magistrate's office. Make sure you're calling the court in your area to ask them specifically, how is my area handling evictions? Don't just go off of the media of the news, because what may be happening in California may not be happening in your city. And again, I cannot stress to you the importance of doing your own research and making sure that these people are not getting over on you, because when taxes are due, if you got a payment, if you got insurance, and if they call you for a repair, you've got to make that repair. Or they can take it out your rent or send you a bill when the rent comes due, when the moratorium is over. So you've got to protect yourself as a landlord. And if you've only gotten one or two properties and you found out that, hey, this landlord stuff, I cannot be tough with people. I cannot tell these people that I don't believe their story. You don't have the courage to evict somebody because they're going through a financial hardship. But if you can't afford it, you can't afford to let somebody slip and not pay your rent. So I'm telling you today, I would hire a third party, which is a property management company, that if you want to be good cop and you need somebody to be bad cop, I would hire a property management company that 10% or whatever that they charge you for fees will probably be more than worth it versus you not getting anything at all. Because I'm seeing so many landlords ruining their credit due to late payments because the people aren't paying on the time. But then your tenants are out here on vacation, living their best life, and you're suffering the consequence. You got to realize that this is not an emotional decision, but a business decision, and your business must operate. This is not, I'm sorry, this is not charity. You must make sure that these people abide by the rules. Make sure that they reach out to these government entities, sorry, that can actually help them get your rent money. Even if you got to help them fill out the form, do it so that you can get your rent money. You don't have time. But if you figure out that maybe being a landlord is not for you, it's not for everybody, don't feel bad about it. But if you want to sell the property, we will be willing to make you a cash offer. If you want to get a third party involved to do maybe some property management for you in order for you to be able to survive this pandemic, to get over this hump. And some people that if you are interested in becoming a landlord, I would suggest that you reach out to us. We have properties. We have people that want to, well, I guess we got a landlord on the line because he said throw their ass out. So make sure that you're running as a business. And like I said, being a landlord is not for everybody. You got to have tough skin. You got to be able to hold people accountable. And like I said, there are incidents and cases where we do have to work with people and we do have to help them. But at the same time, you cannot sink your ship while trying to help somebody else. It says when you get on that airplane, they tell you to put your mask on first and then help your neighbor or your child. If you don't have your mask on first, then you're not any good to anybody else. So you've got to protect yourself and understand that you're running a business. And it just happens to be a business that involves where people live. And I always tell people, you can't make the adult decision for these people. You have to let them make the decision. When people call our office and tell us that they can't pay our rent, and I know they really don't have a valid reason why they can't, and they tell you they got other bills, well, guess what? As an adult, you have to make an adult decision. Is your car payment more valuable than your rent? Is your credit card bill more valuable than your rent? Is your child going on a trip or you going to the beach and living your best life more important than where you lay your head? Then that's a decision that they have to make as an adult. That's not a decision I can make for them, that you can make for them, but you can't feel bad if they decide that their priority is somewhere else and not with your rent. So therefore, you have to make a business decision on your end. And as an adult, we have to suffer the consequences. So I encourage you to recommend that these people go and seek help, because there are a lot of community organizations, United Way, Carolina Community Action, SC Thrive. Google them and find some of these places that will be more than willing to assist with rental assistance. There is help out here for your tenants, but they need to seek the help themselves, and you have to give them that accountability piece to say, hey, you have to apply, and I need to know that you applied and that you're not just running off with my rent. And if they can't respect that, they don't respect you. So guess what? If they don't respect you, how can you go and help somebody that isn't willing to help themselves? So again, when you got a few rental properties, if you got less than 5, you are on a very, very shoestring budget. You could probably make more money getting a vending machine than dealing with renters. You can buy a vending machine for $1,500 and probably bring $600-800 a month in income and not have all the hassle. So that may be your purpose, but don't feel bad because everybody's screaming, get some stock, get some real estate. You have to trust your process. You have to do what you're comfortable with, and nothing that you do does not come with a headache. Everything that you do comes with some kind of headache, but you have to decide what headache you want to experience, what headache you're willing to put up with to meet your ultimate goal as to what you're doing. We are just in the beginning of what they're calling the recession that is looming ahead. So guess what? You cannot wear your feelings on your shoulders, or your sleeves. You need to make sure that you put in place systems that is going to help you collect your rent, because we're not, as landlords, we are not working on this 1,000% profit margin that people think they are. I mean, one repair could cost you a year's worth of rent just to make up for that money. If you have to put a new heat and air system in, that could be $5,000 or $6,000. How many months is it going to take you, depending on how much the rent is? How much is that going to take you to recover that? So you got to think about all that when the people aren't thinking about you. So if you have any questions, or you have some property that you just realize that the rental business is not for you, we will happily help you get rid of it. This is what we do. This is what we love doing. We love providing good, decent properties to people, and they got to respect that, and they got to pay their rent. It's bottom line.